Hey, good afternoon. I'm back for another hour. Gonna stream until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I think hour-long chunks are plenty. More than that, and YouTube starts to get grouchy with me. Excuse me. I'm trying to upload the streams over there. One of these days, I'm gonna have to teach myself how to do some video editing so that I can chop out bits and post the pithy stuff to TikTok and all that happy stuff. But here I am live once again. I want to add a little bit of content to the homepage today. I'm going to add a new markdown file to the posts folder that I'm going to start using as a daily stand-up that I update at the beginning of each stream, just to keep myself in that habit of keeping myself accountable to me and you all. And then once that's done, we are going to continue working through that AstroJS tutorial and hopefully start getting the site looking a little better with some more content, as well as improving the maintainability and extensibility of the individual pages and so on the site. So let's change our view. Here we go. There's that. And you can see my screen. We've got the Astro documentation with the Build a Blog tutorial up. This morning, we learned how to add CSS styles to an individual page using a style tag. And we learned about using variables to inject the values that are going to be used commonly throughout those styles. So check. Let's go back to Visual Studio Code, see where we're at. Here's our About page, and here's our index page. I want to change a few things up here right now. Let's make sure that we've got our live preview running, and we'll refresh. Okay, the server is not running. That's fine. I am going to be lazy rather than typing my way through my folder structure. Let's do this. We'll open our terminal. We're at that developer dad, npm run dev to start the Astro server. We are watching for file changes, which means as we save changes over here in VS Code, it's going to automatically update whatever's being served to localhost. So let's refresh. Here's our stuff. We'll pop over to the home page. There we go. And I am going to, first off, let's rip out this identity stuff and the show a thing. That was us going through tutorial work yesterday by examples. Our page title is still here. Here's our navigation stuff. Hey there, welcome to the page title page. And let's get rid of this conditional argument that we just deleted the control variable for. I'm going to leave this for now. And we're going to rip out all of those paragraphs. Start a blank one. Save it. Check it. Cool. I want to actually pop a bit of content in here that I wrote on my LinkedIn profile during my lunchtime here. So let's go over to LinkedIn. And I'm going to go to my profile and my posts. Here we go. And I am going to copy all of this stuff. Copy that. Close the tab. I'll go massage my network and look at my notifications in between, because y'all don't need to watch me do that stuff. And let's go ahead and paste our content in here. I don't need my source control window up. And let's start off by getting rid of white space. And let's start formatting all of this content. What's our little light bulb say here? Nope, I don't want to move it to a new file. But X that, paste it. P V. That's annoying. There has to be a better way. There has got to be a better way of doing what I'm doing. In VS Code, if I'm editing HTML file, is there a way to select a line of text and close it in a tag? Bam. The Emmet abbreviation. I don't know if I have that extension installed, but let's give that a shot. This might reduce the suck factor on what I'm doing right now by a lot. So highlight that, Shift Command P, Emmet, wrap with abbreviation, P. Bam. Oh, that's lovely. Shift Command P, wrap with abbreviation, P. Oh, yes. Love it. Do that, P. Shift Command P. I bet there's a way to do this for all the lines. Let's ask Copilot. That's sweet. Can I select a number of lines, have it apply same tag on each line? Ho, ho, ho. All right, we're doing it. We're going to do it. Just a second. So for these last 3 lines, we are going to Command Shift P, Emmet, wrap individual, lines. Not quite. Not what I wanted to do. And the wrap individual lines Control C. I'm going to tell Copilot that it was hallucinating. Did not appear in my command palette. Would you like to try again? Command Option down arrow. Yeah, whatever. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a multi-line version of that Emmet thingy. That's okay. This is a lovely, lovely shortcut. And I'm going to use it. Go, last line, and I'm still getting used to invoking this command palette thingy. All right, now multi-line, because I do want to get that stuff popped in. Copilot did tell me how to do multi-line selection. And it is Command Option down arrow or up arrow or whatever to create a cursor on each line. All right, let's give that a shot here. Come to the end of this line, go to the beginning of the line, Command Option up arrow. Here we are. I tried this earlier this morning and it did weird, horrible things to me. But there we go. I want to take this P tag, get rid of that, and I actually want to use a different tag for that. So we are going to go here, and we are going to go no, we're going to make it a paragraph. But let's go ahead, add a style up here at the top, dot emphasized, font weight bold, size. Oh, there's a font sizing that lets you make it slightly larger or slightly smaller. Oh, let's go with larger. Not in love with that idea. I want to use EMs or REMs or whatever. But let's just apply the class is emphasized. Okay. And I believe font style. Let's go ahead and make it italic. Save. That line is emphasized. I want to emphasize the next line as well. Class equals emphasized. Save. Let's preview the effect. Hey, I like that. I like that quite a lot. Still got to get into the positioning at some point because I don't like the way that it's just blobbed out on the page. But we've got that there. I like it. it'll do for now. And this is very much oh, duh. I'm trying to edit that. This is my new website. There we go. Let's create a style for quotes. Dot quotation. Font style. Italic. And is there an indent? Text indent. Let's go 1 EM. REM. We'll use relative EMs. I used to remember what all those typography terms were, but I cannot at this exact moment. So, because we want to add the same thing to both, class equals quotation. Save. Let's see what that did. Hey, cool. Okay, now let's move along to the next item on my personal to-do list. Let's go to articles. I am going to add a new file here called session standup.md. Cool. And I just got a text from my oldest who had to take his car to the shop. He had to take his car to the shop, and he's looking for his mother. So I apologize profusely. I am going to put up the Be Right Back screen, and hopefully it won't have like my camera with my ugly office space up online. But I'll be back very, very, very shortly. I apologize again. Just a moment, please. It's okay, you're sleeping. Hey, sorry, I'm back. I might have to go pick him up, but that's okay. That's life. All right. So there are a couple of things like front mattery things that I'm just going to go ahead and grab from here. Copy this. Paste that here. I'll get rid of this image stuff. All right. And June 20th afternoon coding session. Prior to now, I've gotten, I'm going to bring up my preview. The site has been scaffolded. A few pages are stubbed. Auto deployment on push to Tory is in place. This session, I intend to some real messaging to the home page. Done. Continue working through the AstroJS build a blog tutorial. This will start with the next module. What is the next module called? Come over here. Come over here. Adding site-wide styling. I did a lot of complaining during this morning session about how the styling was being done so far at the page scope. Now we're going to add it to the scope of the entire site. Site-wide styling. Thank goodness. I was getting worried that we were never going to get to this point. And now to make this available, I need to add li a href equals posts slash session standup dot markdown standup notes for accountability, mostly to me. Save that. We code it a little. We'll test a little. So we'll go to articles. Cool. Session stand-up notes. And I goofed my URL. Go back one. What is save slash posts slash session standup dot md. Okay, let's try that again. Needed the leading space. And just to be for sure, we'll hit refresh. We'll hit refresh slash post slash session standup. I think I know what I did. Yep. Do not need the markdown, because Astro does some magic in the in its build process so that it turns our markdown files into basic HTML. And there we go. Because you can see over here on the side, we've got post-1.md, post-2.md, session standup.md. But over here in our links, there is no .md on those. And I'm pretty sure that's what I goofed up. And that's okay. Just save it again. Pop this open. Hey, look at that. Here we go. Nice. I got it. Pardon me. Oh, I should also add to that. We'll close that. Open this up. Add this page. I'll update at the start of each session with our plans, what we want to get done. Boom. Cool. Let's go ahead and give this a third level. All right, I like it. Save it. Make sure it's updated. Add this page. Let's go ahead and call that part Dunzo as well. Cool. Done. Done. I like it. Okay. Style your about page. Add site-wide styling. Pow. Wait. Okay, yeah, that's adding dynamic content. We did that. Okay, applying styles globally. This is where we start to be able to set things up so that we can control how these things look across the site, like I was talking about this morning. So instead of having these little style tags in the header on each individual page file, like we have, or like we have done, we can define the common styles that we want to apply on every single page in one place, and then import those and reference them throughout our individual pages. And I don't think this is going to apply to our markdown files, but I am prepared to be wrong. And I kind of actually hope that I am wrong there. So let us, here we go, add a global style sheet. Now, where do we add this global.css? Style tag is scoped by default, meaning that it only affects the elements in its own file, as we've already discussed. In this tutorial, okay, this combination of style sheet and style tag gives you the ability to control some styles globally for the entire application, and then we can override or create other styles at narrower scopes as we go. So the first thing we got to do is we got to create a styles folder inside our source folder in the project structure. So let's pop over here, source, new folder called, let's make sure it's got focus, styles. Pow. Next part is we are going to add a file called global.css. To our styles folder. New file, global.css. Boom. And there's that. Cool. Save. And now it wants us to do some copy pasta. So, here we go. Here's where we're starting to get into some of the more useful things. Just before I grab this stuff, we'll go over and talk through it real quick. So HTML, these styles are going to apply to anything between the HTML tags. So anything between, let's see if it'll let us collapse things. Yes. So everything between these two these two tags in all of our files, once we've linked the global CSS to our files, is going to be affected by everything defined in this part of the CSS file. It's also defining our body tag, and everything that sits between the open body and the slash body tags are going to be affected by these things. This star is a wildcard, and I think that means it applies to everything. And then H1 applies to our header level 1 elements. So let's go ahead, and now we'll do the copy pasta. We're not going to keep these styles, but we'll apply them for now and see what it does for our site presentation. Now, just creating the file isn't going to be enough, because nothing knows that this global.css file exists. So nothing in the individual pages is able to see these styling directives. Just to prove it, our change has had absolutely zero effect. None. None whatsoever. Linking this in is actually below the fold here. So in about.astro, we're going to add the following import statement to our front matter. And it's using a relative URL that says go up one folder, go into the styles, and use global.css. Let's go ahead and do that. And just because I'm an old man and I type poorly, I'm going to go ahead and copy that line. I'm going to pop over to About. And we're going to drop this right there. Save. I still don't know this import type is transition before preparation event. I wonder what it means. We could look it up in the docs, but I'm not going to mess with it. And I'm also not going to remove it, because who knows what it'll do. Now that we've told the About page to use this styles document that we created, let's go ahead and see what it looks like now. That is a million times less hideous than our homepage. Let's go ahead and apply that across the rest of the pages in our project here. I like that a whole lot better. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to feel like a real web developer suddenly. Paste that in there. Save it. come into articles, pop up to our front matter. I want my imports at the top. Paste that there, save it. Let's go back and see what we've got. Articles, this is a whole lot better now. Our MD files are still not quite great, but I have a feeling that we'll be repairing those soon. And here's about. And this is just a whole lot much betterer than it was just a moment ago. I'm glad they finally took us to this place. We've checked the browser. We've imported the global style sheet, adding the necessary lines of code to each Astro file in the project to apply the global styles to every page of my site. Make any changes or additions you want to the content of your About page, blah, 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 by adding HTML elements, either statically or dynamically. Write any additional JavaScript to the front matter to provide me with the values to use in the HTML. When I'm happy with this page, commit my changes to GitHub before moving on to the next lesson. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Added messaging to the home page. Added the accountability session stand-up article. The posts folder. Brought in a global style sheet. And applied it to each page in the site. Let us commit. Let us sync. Okay. And that's doing its thing. And while it's doing that, let's go to GitHub. There we go. We'll come in here. Make sure our action is running well. Okay. I might have to cut back to doing a check-in once a day, because if it's consuming a minute, 8 seconds, a minute and a bit every time I do it, and I'm doing it multiple times a day, I'm eventually going to run out of my free hour of GitHub workflow action executions that they'll let me do each month. And I don't want to do that. So we're going to close this. And let's hop over to the real website. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That's so much better. So much better. Articles, about, home. Okay. I feel a whole lot better about the state of things right now. Cool. So we've added our site-wide styling. We've checked it all in. And let's get into some components. This is where we start getting into some good stuff. We've got about 17-ish minutes left. I have committed to myself to do some administrative tasks and do some job applications on LinkedIn and so on and so forth today. So I am not going to stream for more than an hour, but let's get into components. So we now have Astro and MD files. We're generating entire pages on the website. And let's pull out the smaller bits of HTML that we've had to apply on every page to so that we don't have to do it quite as often, and so that we can change those elements everywhere by changing it in one place. This is a perfect example of that concept that I mentioned earlier this morning, talking about encapsulating volatility. So in this unit, you'll learn how to create Astro components to reuse code for common elements across your website. We're going to build a navigation component. Good. That is the menu of links for the pages. We're going to make a footer, a social media component, and an interactive hamburger component to toggle navigation on mobile. Cool. You'll use CSS and JavaScript to build a responsive design that reacts to screen sizes and user input. All right, I'm ready to build some components. All right, we're going to create a new folder. We're going to build an Astro component to display the navigation links. And then we're going to go into our pages and rip out our existing nav section with this new navigation component. So we're going to create a new folder inside source called components. Let's do that right now. So here's source, new folder, components. There's that. Back to Safari. We're going to create a navigation component, and it's going to be navigation.astro with a capital N. I have a feeling that that matters. You know what? Just to keep from having to type it and get the typing wrong, I'm going to go ahead and copy that file name. New file called navigation.astro. PAL. Empty front matter. And this front matter, that's the language that they use in the Astro documentation. I have called it metadata. And I believe that's an accurate alternative name for the bits that go between these two horizontal line spacers. But because they're calling it front matter in the Astro documentation, I will call it front matter, even though my instinct wants me to refer to that stuff as metadata. Let's come in here. We've got those things. Ahref about. Okay. Because we're doing something a little bit differently on our site than this, I am not going to do copy paste from the tutorial page. I'm instead going to copy and paste from here. Here's navigation.astro. And we're going to paste. I got rid of all the indentation, which is great. And I thought I saw something. Okay, we're going to want to put those trailing slashes in there, I bet. I'm going to go ahead and do it just to be safe. You know what? I'm going to do it for one and not the other because science. And let's see what happens. I wonder if the link for about will break. Let's find out. Come over to index. And the next instruction is to import and use it. So we're in index.astro, back over in VS Code. We're going to import navigation from that relative path. Let's go ahead and do that. Import navigation from okay, and then it's just a relative path. Up a layer, components, navigation.astro. We got that. Yes, we do. And then we're going to rip out the manually added hyperreferences and replace it with our component tag. / save. We don't have any unsaved changes. No, we do not. I'm going to close that global CSS. Let's come over here and see what we've got. So here's home. And this is using our navigation link. About still works. Let's go home. And our articles. I don't like the way we're is that just a... It must be an optical illusion. I thought I was seeing a horizontal jump back and forth. It's okay. So it doesn't appear that this trailing space matters, but for the sake of consistency, I'm going to put it in there. And because I just made a code change, I feel like I have to come and test it. All right, great. So we've built our navigation. Now when I add new pages in the future, I add the page. I come in here, I add the hyperreference, and we are money. But it'll only work on the index page. So let's go ahead and come over here. I've already written it once. Copy that. About. Paste you above. Articles. Paste you above. Save. And then index. I'm going to grab this just because every time I type something, I have better than even odds of making a typo or fat fingering something. So because it does need to be repeated, we've got navigation there. We have navigation here. We need navigation here. There we go. Save. 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 All right. And let's go test. Here's the home page, articles, about. There's definitely some horizontal shifting going on there. I bet there's something in the styling. So now that we've got our global style sheets, do I have any custom styling up here in my header? I do. I want to pull these guys out to my global. So I'm going to cut those. Here's global. We're just going to put those over there. Did I get rid of them out of here? Yes, I did. I'm going to go ahead and remove that part of the header. And let's see. I still have my styles. Thing of beauty. And now quotation and emphasis are available to other pages where I need them. So that was sweet. And we've got our preview. Good. We've added the navigation to the rest of the site. We have refactored. Yeah. Restart the dev server. We've done the okay, whatever. You can do this when you have elements repeated on multiple pages. Let's take the quiz. Refactor to make a reusable component. We're correct. Astro components are reusable and fragments of HTML. Hooray us. Astro components will automatically create a new page on your site when you I feel like I missed an important point in my excitement to get things refactored. Let's go look in Astro components, new page on your site when you... I don't feel like... Oh, that's correct. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're just... It was a trick. It wasn't something new or anything like that. There's all kinds of Astro components running in the background. And when we add a .astro file in the source/pages folder, that Astro file will get compiled into an HTML file during the actual build process. They tricked me. All right, let's create a social media footer. We're going to create a footer component, create and pass props to a social media component. This will be fun. GitHub with Astro. We're going to use something other than GitHub and Astro. First off, we'll create our footer. New file, footer.astro. And they are using variables for that. I think instead of using the variables for that, we're going to try something a little different. We've only got a couple of minutes left in this afternoon's stream. But what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and say footer. Footer. follow me at on these social media platforms. XV. And let's just do basic hrefs right now. Href equals .com/in my name target equals blank. LinkedIn equals https twitch.tv dad target equals blank, not blank. And I just added equals https slash, and I need to go get the address. Oh, gross. I'm going to need to de-uglify this this URL, but that's okay. We'll get there. Oof, that's horrifying. Target equals blank. Here we go. YouTube S. And we've got that. Let's go ahead and come over to index. We're going to go a little bit over right now. And I apologize to you all and myself. Copy, paste, footer from footer. Actually, before we do that, we will add footer slash save and test. Here we go. Cool. We will apply this to the other pages right now. I had this here. Rip that out. And that's not going to work because I have not imported. Save. So we've got index, about, and we need to do articles. Paste that there. And save. We'll test. So we'll go home. Here's our footer. We'll test our links. 2. And I'm going to be ready to close Twitch real quick because we're live and I don't want it to go to the infinity mess. And here's my videos and my playlists. We've got the one from yesterday afternoon, the one from this morning, and soon we'll have this one posted over to YouTube as well. And let's make sure about has our footer matter. We're going to do some styling on that stuff tomorrow. So let us, just before we finish for this session, close out of this stuff and recap or set my goals for tomorrow. We also learned about site components, eliminated a lot of repeated HTML elements, sweet, that is sweet. And that's it. Next time, I want to style the footer so that it's less ugly. Move the refactor the social media links. And I actually want to do this before we get into styling the footer next time. So we're going to move that there. Refactor the social media links so that I can define a JSON object of the different sites, their links, and their names. Because they don't all use the same username, slug. For instance, the YouTube channel is this big, ugly bunch of ugliness. Like, that's the slug for the YouTube channel. And I got to see if there's a way to get rid of that and replace it with this. That would make me much happier than what we've got. Twitch is easy. It's using the username. YouTube is using my personal name. And I'm debating whether or not I actually want to create a profile over there for that developer dad. I probably won't. Unless I feel like this persona is starting to interfere with my professional job searching and so on. I might need to create some separation there, but for now, I don't think I'm going to. So we want to refactor our social media links in the footer content so that instead of typing a million hrefs and all of that stuff, I can use that looping technique that we saw in the tutorial. So refactor so that I can define a JSON object. Then we'll use a JavaScript map function over that array to render a link for each entry in our JSON object. We're going to do that tomorrow morning. And then we're going to try and style the footer so that it's less ugly. After that, we'll continue with the tutorial. Let's save. We'll do our test over in articles, stand-up notes. Cool. Good, good, good. I think I would be well served to make one last edit before we go. I'm going to come into posts, or our articles. I'm going to grab this. Control C. Let's go to index. Navigation. Hey there, welcome to the home page. My career counselor is going to have an aneurysm. While I'm actively developing this site, I'll be tracking. I've decided I should track my progress. Goals. Goals. What is this even doing? Goals and plans in a public post. Silly IntelliSense. BR. href. I have the href in my post buffer. And because we don't have a nav back from the posts, I am going to target equals underscore blank. Save. Are here. There we go. Let's test it. Stand-up session notes are here. Let's go. Beautiful. All right. Groovy. We'll do one more commit. Added navigation and footer components. Integrated those throughout the site. Excuse me. Commit. We're going to sync. And we'll let GitHub do its thing and push that over to Azure and update my main website. And things are looking better. And thank you for joining me. We shall see you all next time.